Good afternoon, Anne Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. Welcome to Promoting Community Conversation and Discovery. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. These are exciting times here in Anne Arundel County. I'm going to talk about some of that excitement over the course of our show. First things first, today is Flag Day. Now, Flag Day is not a holiday that's discussed a lot. However, it's an important day because if you have flags, it's a time to get them out there. Now, obviously, it's meant for the United States flag, but there are other flags that people have. In my home, of course, I had the United States flag, but I also have a flag for the state of New Hampshire, where I was born and raised. My wife has some decorative flags also. So, it's a good idea. It's just something to add something to your home. It could, well, anyway, it's Flag Day. So if you remembered it, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. So let's go on. Let's start off with upcoming events. Tomorrow, the John Wesley Youth Ministry is holding a car wash at the church on B&A. So it's a fundraiser for the church. And these things normally start in the morning, normally around 9, 10, and they run a couple of hours. If you get the opportunity to get over there, you get your car cleaned up. I don't know if they're backing me though. Next weekend is the big weekend. Goffstown Library, the 22nd. Goffstown History, Violent Legacy. I will be co-presenting with my brother Bruce. We're so looking forward to this opportunity. Eventually, it will be a show, and we will get it out to the public. It will take a little bit of time, but we're so looking forward to this opportunity to, history is so important. All of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. The history that I'm going to be talking about next weekend is all good. I assure you that. Also, we want to do a shout out for our affiliates. Start off with Manhattan Neighborhood Network. They are airing our show, which is out now. I mentioned it last week. The Community Conversation and Discovery, the first under the rebranded name. They're running it the 13th, which was yesterday, the 16th, and the 19th. Greenbelt Cable Access in Greenbelt, Maryland, or PG County, aired the show this week. Amherst Media acknowledges having this show, and they should be updating if they have not already updated. The show runs in Amherst Media on Saturday nights. Then we have Arundel County Community TV. They have the show. I have not heard back from them. I'm sure if there was a problem, they would have told me. So I'm sure they've updated it, and it's probably airing there now. Then you have to check local listings for that one. But in the past, they're running it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the evening, like 6 or 7 o'clock. So just check your local area, your local times for that information. I also want to look at give credit where credit's due. So for this week, as usual, we rely on Wikipedia, but we have a new source, something called Reman University. And I'll explain that to you a little bit later, and also the poem. So with that, first segment is most admired. This person topped the record charts in the early 70s. He was on every radio station. You'll get it in just a second. So go to share. We're talking about Al Green. His actual name is Albert. He was born Albert Lenoris Green, but he shortened it to Al Green. He was born 4/13/1946. He is still with us. He was born in a place called Forest City, Arkansas. Now he is a reverend and has been for many years. I want to read the accolades first and talk a little bit about his life. He was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995. He's a winner of 11 Grammy Awards. He has the BMI Achievement Award and is also a Kennedy Center Honors recipient. Now, he's 6 of 10 children. And he started performing at the age of 10. Now, at some point, he got kicked out of the house because his dad caught him listening to some Jackie Wilson records. So, back in those days, there was a line, and you either listen to gospel music or you listen to secular music. You didn't cross the line. Now that's obviously changed, but that's how it was done back in the 50s. And at some point, I remember hearing Marva Staples talk about this, where certain churches you could get in a lot of trouble if you were a gospel singer and you decided to go more secular music. You could get in trouble with your pastors. So, but again, that was a long time ago. In high school, he was in a group. I don't have the name of the group here, but two of the members of the group had an independent label, which basically meant they had the equipment to make their own records. So they started recording. And this is around this would have been the early 60s, in fact. So Al Green's recording, he's in a group, he knows what he wants to do early on. And that's a big deal. You follow your dreams, you follow your passion. There's going to be some tough times in there, but you're enjoying life because your eyes on the prize, so to speak. It wasn't until 1969, however, the word starts to get out about this Al Green fellow. People start to take interest in him. In 1971, there's an album, I believe it's called Al Green Gets Next to You. And it has some big hits on it. I think the way this goes is there was one big hit on that album, Tired of Being Alone. Then he had another album, the Let's Stay Together album. Big hits, just blows up, right? I'm Tired of Being Alone. Love and Happiness. These were colossal hits. They were on every radio station. They were colossal hits. Still, not everything is perfect in anyone's life, and Al Green had more than his share of issues, especially as it relates to relationships. On 10/18/1974, Al Green's girlfriend assaulted him with hot grits, causing second-degree burns on his back, his stomach, and arms. She, from the reading, wanted to get married. Now, I don't know and the article doesn't say if Al Green knew that she was already married. He must have known that she already had children. So he didn't want to. And she assaulted him. And then she took her own life. That's rough. And I don't know if it was at that point that he looked into the ministry. I'm not exactly sure about that. He had a second relationship. It imploded also. So, not everything's perfect in life. Still, when we think about the golden voice of Al Green and the happiness that he brought so many people based on 2 and 3 minute recordings, he becomes my most admired for this week. Okay. Now, we're going to move on. And first thing we're going to do is change the screen. So this week we're going to talk about a local business, because at this part of the show, we want to talk about something of consequence in Glen Burnie, or in Arundel County rather. And we should look at Glen Burnie Transmissions. That's what I've decided to do. So I'm going to click on the more photos here. You can see more photos. There we go. The Glen Burnie Transmission started in 1961. It's located at 7166 Ritchie Highway. It's accredited by the Better Business Bureau. The owner is a Mark Schwartzman. Now, it's interesting. I had found basic information about Glen Burnie Transmission, but I wanted some soul to borrow from Al Green. I wanted some soul. And so I'm looking, and nothing's really doing it. Then I find an interview that Mark Schwartzman did with a Noah Ricken. Now, Noah Ricken is in the auto business also. He has formed this, I guess this is website or companies called Reman University for remanufacture. And so they did a Skype interview about 10 years ago, and it was a very, very good interview. And so I borrowed, I listened, and some of the information is going to come directly from there. So Noah, thank you for that. At the time of the interview, the business had was for 10 years, 10 years. Now it's another 10 years have gone by. At that time, it was a $6 million shop. So this is huge. I know Glen Burnie Transmissions because you know, I had a minivan. In fact, this past year, about 5 months ago, my son Anton called me about the Nissan, his Nissan Max, uh, not the Maxima, but the I remember later. It wasn't moving. Car starts not moving. That's transmission. I let him know two things. One, they do cost some money to have fixed. But two, if you need to have it done, you go into Glen Burnie Transmission. So that said, it started by his father-in-law, Marvin Kaiser, and he had two childhood friends, a Harry and Lou Dyke. Like I said, these guys grew up together. Harry and Lou had owned a gas station, and Marvin was a mechanic. So they went into business together. They started with 6 bays. They said they're going to work on nothing but transmissions. Okay. By 1973, they had 16 bays, 16 places where they could work on transmissions. By 1988, they added the truck shop. So they could work on truck transmissions and bus transmissions, right? The big ones. Now, he did buy out his partners, and they're at one location. I believe they've been in one location the whole time. So now, or 10 years ago, they had 21 bays, 6 at the truck shop, 19 employees, 2 foremen, 2 service reps, 2 parts reps, a lady who handles the accounts receivable. Very important job in business, right? Because if you don't get the money, you go out of business. 6 installers, 2 service reps, and 2 outside sales reps. Very interesting, outside sales reps. Now they work on, at that time, about 300 cars a month. And again, all transmissions. And one thing they started talking about during the interviews was the difference and when and how to decide if you're going to remanufacture transmission or remanufacture anything, as opposed to building. And the two things they looked at is, where are you going to spend your money? Are you going to spend it on parts prices, or are you going to spend it on labor? You're going to spend it somewhere. So you got to figure out what the price point is that you can charge and go from there. It was a very good interview. I really enjoyed it. And in fact, I have an idea that I may end up reaching out to Mark Schwartzman for other reasons that we can talk about later, because he was a very good interview. It was a very, very good interview. Okay, so we're going to stop the share. One last thing to do. We always want to do a speech or a poem when we've established, to kind of follow the theme of the show. So we had Al Green, soul music, Memphis horns, we got Glen Burnie Transmission. The theme doesn't really exist. First time for everything, right? But I found a poem that I think is pretty apropos. So this is from the poem Hunter, is written by a Mercedes Zoller. It's called Junkie Car, because I've had junkie cars. If you haven't had a hoopty, right? So let's read it. An old car that is honking with tricycle tires, an old car that is honking with tricycle tires and a motor that is backwards. I wait in the corner, like always, his faithful friend. My friends are laughing, whispering things about me. Old car, step by step, don't stop coming. Old car, little by little, don't leave us. Old car, step by step, Don't stop coming. Old car, little by little, don't leave us. Look, girls, I'm not sorry. I'm not ashamed. Even though the car is poor, even though he's poor, even though it's poor, and it's an old car. The car treats us great. The car is of truth. And even though it's an old car, what's important is that I'm going. The car isn't handsome, but it's faithful. Old car, step by step, don't stop coming. Old car, little by little, don't stop, don't you leave us. Old car, step by step, don't stop coming. Old car, little by little, don't leave us. And again, that's written by Mercedes Zoller, and it's called Junkie Car. So, yeah, So this weekend, we're very excited about the opportunity in Goffstown, New Hampshire, where it all started for me. And this weekend, if you're around, you get a chance to get over to John Wesley Youth Ministries having that car wash. So for everyone here at the Glen Burnie Players, again, my name is Anthony Bynum. Until next time, bye-bye.